All right, guys, welcome to the NBA live stream. We got 7 games to go over. We have a lot of news to talk about as well. We got the Spurs news, which obviously changes the slate. So we'll talk about that in a bit. If you guys are new to the channel, the first time watching, welcome. What we'll do here is we'll take a look at, again, injury news, what we know so far, review the Vegas odds, then go team by team, talk about the players I like, leave some time for questions at the end. So let's start at the beginning of the day. Let's see, let me scroll up. So Kemba out. We got Jaylen Brown questionable. That does change things. He's still game time decision right now. So like Tatum becomes a really good play if Brown's out. Also Marcus Smart. Devontae Graham, I think we're still waiting on his news as well. Tim Hardaway Jr. is questionable. Goran Dragic was questionable but now in. Lou Dort in. Pokusevski is questionable. I believe we just got news that he is in as well. Let's see. Some of the stuff is for the early slate or the early game. Fred VanVleet is out, so I think, guys like Lowry, guys like Siakam get a boost. Obviously, Malachi Flynn now becomes a value play. DeJounte Murray out. DeMar DeRozan out. Jakob Poeltl out. So, again, the Spurs basically resting everyone. Available players, I think it's 11. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. This could get tricky because going up against a good Philadelphia team, there's some severe blowout risk, and if this game does blow out, you could see everyone play like 20 to 25 minutes and almost like no one get there. So that is really the worry. But there's so many guys that are close to min price. I think you got to have probably at least one Spur in every lineup. Schroeder's ruled out, so I'm curious to see what the Lakers do with their starting lineup. I don't know what they're gonna do. Like, does THT maybe move in? I'm actually curious because with LeBron most likely playing too, keep an eye on that one. Let's see, DJ Wilson out, not big. Some of the stuff is from Monday. Again, Jaylen Brown game time decision. Devontae Graham as well. Goran Dragic is in. Burks is unlikely to play due to conditioning, so I think that makes Derrick Rose a viable low-owned play in the mid-range. Again, Pokusevski's in. Marvin Bagley will remain on a Mets limit. Okay, that was a little bit of a surprise. So I'm curious, like who the Kings are actually going to play with Metu out too. Like who starts? That'll be kind of ugly. But all right, so that's where we're at right now. Let me refresh Bovada really quick, and then we can get to the team by team breakdown. I'm going to go a little bit fast for this. Let's see. So I'm not going to go through every game, but the Celtics, Trailblazers 234.5 over under. That game pretty high. And the Kings Mavericks games pushing for 230. Everything else kind of low in the low, 215-ish range. A lot of games kind of settling around there. So, all right, guys, before I get into the team-by-team breakdown, really quick, if you could, leave a like button on the live stream. Let's aim for 100 likes on this on the show. We'll be live for a good another 20 minutes, so I'll make sure to leave some time for some questions. And, all right, let's do it. Portland, Boston, again, so what we're waiting on, we're not waiting on anything really for the Portland side. So the first guy I got to talk about is my boy, the Bosnian Beast, Yusuf Nurkic. 3 straight games of blowouts, 3 straight games he was crushing. Now, he did only lose like 3 or 4 minutes, but that's still really big for a guy like Nurkic, who's a phenomenal point per minute guy. I think he's going to go a little bit overlooked in the slate, but again, if we get about 30 minutes from him, you could definitely see 40-plus from Nurkic, so I'm still intrigued by him in the mid-range. Lillard, CJ in this slate, I would say, are more GPP plays. There's more spend-ups I think are optimal. I think it's setting up for the Stars and Scrubs build, so it's a little bit hard for me to prioritize either Dame or CJ against this Boston team. But again, they do still have the upside. Powell, Covington, no thank you in this one. On the Boston side, if Jaylen Brown's out, I think Tatum becomes one of the best plays of the slate. He just went for 82 the last game, so I'd really like Tatum in a good matchup. Also, I'd really like Marcus Smart in the mid-range. I think he would just be a safe play with upside. Like, he'll play close to 40 minutes, a guy that can do it all. So Smart and Tatum become 2 of the best plays of the slate, in my opinion. And with the centers, Rob Williams and Tristan Thompson, we got to talk about this. So Tristan Thompson had the center position to himself for like 2 weeks, did nothing. And then finally, when Rob Williams comes back, he starts crushing again. Does that make any sense to anyone? No? Like, what? I do prefer Rob Williams to Tristan Thompson. He's the slightly better point per minute guy, and he's a little bit cheaper. So Rob Williams, assuming he starts too, I think he's a good play in the mid-range. Fournier, Peyton Pritchard become viable. Brown's out. I really don't like playing Evan Fournier because he is kind of relying on the scoring. Pritchard, again, been a little bit up and down, but those guys do become a little bit interesting if there's no Jaylen Brown. Now, if Jaylen Brown's in, then all of Boston, at least like the main 3 guys, like Tatum, Brown, Smart, are all kind of solid plays, but no priorities. I think my favorite play, if Brown would be in, would probably be Robert Williams. Miami, Charlotte, so it's Jimmy and Bam, both look good here in a good matchup. Both are going to play big minutes. Small forward weak, so I think Jimmy's looks like a good play. Also Bam as well. Nunn, with Dragic in, kind of just like the both secondary plays. Both are playing bigger minutes recently. Like Dragic hovering around 30 minutes. Nunn's been playing huge minutes. He's been playing like 35 plus. So those two are at least fine in the mid-range. Not much else here. On the Charlotte side, we're still waiting on Devontae Graham news. If he's in, I'm probably just going to stay away from everyone in Charlotte. If he's out, I think you could take a shot on LaMelo Ball, who did play 28 minutes in his first game. He's a good point per minute guy and maybe pushes for 30 in this one. Even in a tough matchup, do some interest in LaMelo. Rozier, Bridges, no thanks. PJ, I'll pass against Bam. Not much else here for Charlotte. Sacramento, Dallas. So, Fox out, Barnes out. Halliburton becomes a good play in the mid-range. He should be the number one on offense. Should play big minutes. Should play 35 plus. A guy that can do the peripheral stats. So I do like Halliburton a decent amount there. I think he's a nice pairing with Luka for GPPs. Even for cash games, you can go there. Buddy Hield in play as well. A little more reliant on the scoring, even though he had 7 assists, 6 boards at last game. Would rather get to Halliburton at a similar price. But yeah, Buddy Hield for sure in play as well. I do have some interest in Rashawn Holmes too, just because they just have no one to play, right? Like Bagley's going to be on a limit. Metu's out. They just have no bodies. And Rashawn Holmes is a good point for a guy. I think he's going overlooked in the slate. I actually do like Rashawn Holmes a good amount here. I think he's shown he's got 50-plus fantasy one upside, right? We've seen it multiple times from him this year. So I do like Rashawn Holmes there in the mid-range. And then, again, Metu out, Bagley on a limit. I think you can still take a shot in Bagley on a limit, but I think there's better value on the slate, so I probably won't do it. Like, Mo Harkless probably picks up more minutes, but I've tried that too many times this year. It just hasn't worked out. Terrence Davis, DeLon Wright, viable contrarian value plays. I think DeLon Wright pushes for 25 to 30. Terrence Davis did close the last game. We know he's a good scorer. I think he's an interesting low-owned contrarian play. That is it. I'm not taking a shot at anyone else, though. So it's Halliburton, Hield at the top. I do like Rashawn Holmes in the mid-range. Then a couple of viable value guys, but no one I love. On the Dallas side, Luka Doncic, one of the best plays of the slate. 1 for 80 last game. Great matchup here. So, yeah, he looks great, even though he did bust last time against Sacramento in 38 minutes, 1 for 46 fantasy points. I'm not super worried about it. Luka, one of the best plays of the slate. Now, Hardaway, Porzingis both out. Jordan Finney-Smith seems to start right. If he landed him as last piece in, that's all right. Value, I think Josh Richardson's probably the value I get to with no Tim Hardaway. I think he pushes for 30-plus minutes. Good matchup. Not a super productive guy, but I think he's at least viable. And with the big rotation, they're all in play for GPPs. Kleber, Powell, Cauley-Stein. Kleber probably starts and plays 25-ish minutes, 25 to 30. Powell, Cauley-Stein, good luck trying to predict who's going to get the minutes. I do think they split the minutes. Maybe Boban gets a little bit of run. Cauley-Stein got the run last game, but he also, played 12 previous. It's just like, it's hard to trust Rick Carlisle. So if you want to take a shot in one of these centers, you can. If I had to pick one, it would be Cauley-Stein, revenge game narrative, but that's not a super strong take. All right, New York, Houston. New York side, do like Randall, good amount. Great matchup here. Only thing you got to worry about is the bullet rest. Should play 35-plus minutes, so do like Randall, good amount there at the top. Derrick Rose with no Alec Burks in, I think he's a solid play in the mid-range. Besides the last game, 33, 30, 30 minutes, I do think Rose is a pretty solid play. Noel, I think, is a safer value play, but not a must now with the Spurs on this slate. So, Noel, if you landed him as last piece in, that's fine. 25 to 30 minutes, a guy that can do the peripheral stats. Burks, not projected to play. That is it for New York. On the Houston side, there's not much here. Would KPJ, Olynyk is contrarian spun ups because they're going to play big minutes if the game does stay competitive, but bad matchup, blowout risk. I'll stay away in the 7-game slate. All right, so that's we're about halfway through, guys. I know I'm going a little bit fast, but we only got about 15 minutes left, so I want to leave some time for some questions. Conley out for Monday. Jaylen Brown available to play, because that is pretty big news. Ty Jerome will be back in the rotation for the Thunder. So Thunder, Meltdown, Dort, Pokusevski, Baisley, Brown. I mean, it's just so hard to trust that Thunder team. We'll get to them. Okay, so Philadelphia, San Antonio. This one's a tricky one because obviously there's some blowout risk. What is the spread in this right now? 10-point spread. Embiid at the top looks good. Looks like a good spin up. The only thing you have to worry about is potential for a blowout here. But yeah, I do like Embiid there at the top. Ben Simmons, Tobias Harris are fine plays, but need the priorities. It's Embiid for me. On the San Antonio side, so this is where it gets interesting, right? DeRozan, Murray, White, Pirtle, Lyles, all out. I want to see what they do with the starting lineup, but the cheap guys are really what I'm looking to. So we'll start with Lonnie Walker at 3.5. I think he probably plays about 30 minutes. Yeah, one of the better values of the slate. I think Drew Eubanks is also one of the better values on the slate. Only thing you have to worry about is foul trouble, but he's so cheap that I'm willing to take that risk. I do think a sneaky play is Gorgie Jang. Gorgie Jang is a good point for a guy. I think he'll play the backup 5, and there's a good chance Eubanks gets into foul trouble. So if you want to take the shot on a low-owned Jang, I don't mind that at all. Because Gorgie Jang, again, good point for a guy. And if Eubanks gets in foul trouble, Gorgie's coming in. So I think he's a good GPP play. I think Patty Mills at 3-1 is fine. The only thing you have to worry about Patty Mills is he's a veteran. If this game blows out, he's one of the first to come out of the game. Kind of the same thing with Rudy Gay, right? If this game stays competitive, I think Rudy Gay could have a good game at 3.8. But again, him, Patty Mills, if this game turns into a blowout, they're coming out right away. Keldon Johnson is in play at 4.8 as well. The only thing you have to worry about Keldon Johnson is he's been in a lot of spots where the Spurs have been resting a lot of guys, and he's been disappointing. Now, it is 4-8, so it's like, yes, basically you can make the argument for any Spur on this slate. It's like Keldon, Rudy, Lonnie, Eubanks, Mills, Gorgie Jang. And then if you think this game blows out, you can take shots on some of these end-of-the-bench guys, like a Keita Bates-Diop, a Vassell, Samancic. That is where I'm at for the Spurs. I think you do want some exposure. But again, there's a chance if this game blows out that everyone plays like 20 to 25 minutes for the Spurs, kind of like what the Thunder did last game. So Suns, Thunder, Suns, top 3 guys look good. Only thing you have to worry about is the blowout. Cam Johnson, questionable. If he's in, I think he's a fine value play. If you think this game blows out, we can take shots on guys like Kaminsky, Sarge, but I think I would rather take the shot on the Spurs guys. On the Thunder side, it's just hard. Dort in, Pokusevski in. It's not a good matchup here. They have like 15 guys that are available to play. I am just crossing off this Thunder team. I'm not getting to anyone here against Phoenix. And final game is Toronto and the Lakers. So Toronto, Van Fleet out. I think Kyle Lowry's a pretty safe play. Even in a tough matchup, he should play 35-plus minutes. So I do like Lowry as a safe play. Siakam's been very bad recently, but I think he's a decent contrarian GBP play. And then we got to talk about Malachi Flynn. Should play 30-plus minutes, and he's a good value even in a tough matchup. And then OG, I'll pass on. Kem Birch is just now an all-star, I guess. Back-to-back 40-plus fantasy point games. I have no idea what's getting into Kem Birch, but the minutes are there. 32, 36, 35. I think he's fine at 5-1. Again, I'm shocked how well he's playing, but yeah, he's not out of play. The way that he's been recent form's been phenomenal for a guy like Kem Birch. And finally, the LA Lakers. So LeBron questionable. I do expect him to play. So LeBron as a low-owned contrarian spend-up, I think is actually interesting on the slate. I think he is. If he plays, then we get 30 to 35 minutes from him. A super low on LeBron, he can still get it done. Don't mind AD too. Might prefer the price on AD to LeBron at 9.1K. And then Schroeder out. I'm not sure who they move in the starting lineup. Like THT at 4K. Maybe if he starts, he's a viable value play, but I just don't know what they're going to do. Like, they could start LeBron at the point and throw like a Ben McLemore or someone gross like that in the starting lineup and then just have no interest. But maybe if a guy like THT moves in the starting lineup, but have some interest there for value. But really, it's LeBron, it's AD. If LeBron does rest, then it gets more interesting, right? Because then you have no LeBron, no Schroeder, and then it's like, okay, who's going to run the point guard for this team? So then I think THT becomes interesting. Like, I don't really know who else they could throw at the point guard. Caruso is questionable too, so like possibly some value here for the Lakers if LeBron is out too. Like maybe a THT, maybe a Caruso if he does play. So keep an eye on that one. But that is where I'm at right now, guys, for this 7-game slate. So let me refresh one more time. We got 10 minutes until I have to get out of here. So throw some questions in the chat. Again, I know it was a little bit fast, but wanted to leave some time for some questions. We are at over almost 350 viewers and 72 likes, guys, for Sunday. Appreciate that. Lowry playing today. Yes, he is. Van Fleet is out. LaMelo or Halliburton. I think you got to feel better about Halliburton at the moment. Better matchup, I think, and he should play big minutes. LaMelo in a tougher matchup, but he's still a good point per minute guy. Thoughts on PJ tonight? Probably not for me against Bam. AD or Butler. Right now it's Jimmy for me. LeBron is in. They just love. Yeah, I think LeBron plays too. I do think LeBron plays. I agree, and they kind of need to win this game too. So yeah, top 3 contrarian spend-ups. Well, there's not a ton of spend-ups on the slate, so it's a little bit hard to say. I think LeBron is going to be low-owned. I kind of like LeBron as contrarian spend-up. I'm trying to think who will be lower owned. Lillard will be lower owned. I don't mind him. But yeah, there's not a ton of spend ups. So there's like, I don't know. Like Luka's obviously gonna be chalky. I think Embiid will be popular. I think Randall will get some ownership. Tatum maybe not as much, but he's still viable. So maybe a guy like LeBron. I think he'll be a low on LeBron on a 7-game slate is never a bad thing. Fave Spur, need to see the starting lineup. But again, I think Eubanks, Lonnie Walker, those guys, because they're young, right? So they might play the blowout. Even a guy like Keldon Johnson. Who's the highest owned spend up? I think it'll be Luka. I think Luka for sure. Caruso and he's questionable. Naismith, Love, no. Thoughts on Mills, Walker, Doncic, Johnson, Eubanks, Lowry, Olynyk, and Randall. I think it's fine. Olynyk, I don't love at that price against the Knicks. Raptors versus, you mean Raptors versus Lakers? Yeah, there's some blowout risk in Toronto versus Lakers for sure. Robert Williams and Holmes is center. I think that's fine. The only thing you have to worry about there is then you're fading a really good value play in either Eubanks or Gorgie Jang. I think you probably want to get to maybe one of those Spurs centers. Best value, I think it's the Spurs depending on what we see for the starting lineup. But yeah, definitely the Spurs. Again, depends on the starting lineup, so I can't say right now. How many Spurs is too many? I think you can play 3 to 4. Favorite cash spend? I think it's got to be Luka. I think it's probably Luka, yeah. The Spurs keep the game close. Who are the players that make it close? Probably Lonnie, Eubanks, Rudy Gay, Keldon Johnson. Brown or Tatum, if you were to still play one, it would be Jaylen Brown now with him in. I prefer the discount on Brown to Tatum. Kleba or Gay? For me, it would be Rudy Gay. I know there's probably a little more risk with Rudy Gay, but like with everyone out for the Spurs, I would just rather take the shot at Gay. I think he's got a higher ceiling. I think Kleba might be a little bit safer, but yeah, I'll go Gay there. Eubanks or Jang, so it's Eubanks for cash games assuming he starts, but I do like Jang for GPPs. Again, Eubanks is going to be probably the top, the highest owned player on the slate, and there's a good chance he gets in foul trouble, so Jang will be the guy I think that comes in for him. Even the Spurs get blown out, Mills can get it done. Yeah, he can still get it done at that price, right? Patreon, Patreon live stream will be right after this, as always. You like Keldon? Yeah, I mean, I think all the Spurs are in play. 4.6K Lonnie or 4.5K Bullock. It's Lonnie for me. Jimmy or Bron at the same price on FanDuel. It's probably Jimmy just because there's less blowout risk. Does Burke get an upgrade? I only play Burke if he starts. I'm probably not going to play. I would just rather play the Spurs. Keldon or Rudy Gay. I think if the salary, it's Keldon because he's a younger guy. He probably plays more minutes. Jimmy, a priority play for you. Nobody looks good at the top. 8.3K for forward. Let's see. 8.3K. So you can't get Brown. I think it's got to be Siakam then, right? I don't really want to play Kellyo against the Knicks. Can't play DeRozan, so that's the only option. Rob Williams or Birch? For me, it's Robert Williams, even though Birch has been playing well. Tatum Ball or Randall Lowry? Give me Randall Lowry there. How do you like LaMelo, Halliburton, Doncic, Kleba, Eubanks, Flynn, Hield, Nurkic? I think it's a fine contrarian lineup. You only have one Spur in there, which is a little bit risky. Ford, sub 5K. It's probably Keldon Johnson for me. Yeah, Keldon's at 4.8. I think it's him. Just with, again, everyone out for the Spurs. Ford for 4.2. Okay, so 4.2 and Ford. Not really interested in Melo. Now, obviously, Burks is not going to play most likely. So I think it's probably Rudy Gay. Rudy Gay down here at 3. I think it's, answer is going to be a lot of Spurs. Van Fleet's out, yep. I like Robert Williams and Holmes both. I think both. Robert Williams will be decently owned. I think Holmes is one of my favorite tournament plays in the slate. I think he's going to go very low owned, but I think he's got a lot of upside. Does Eubanks play in a blowout or Jang? I have no idea. We'll get popped. I would assume it's probably Jang, but it depends if Eubanks gets an early foul trouble or not. Thoughts on Flynn, Walker, Luka, Randall, Eubanks, Halliburton, Siakam, Jang for tournaments? I think that's perfectly fine, yeah. I think you could play both Eubanks and Jang just because they should somewhat split the center minutes. I don't think Eubanks is going to come out and play 35 minutes. Could be wrong there, though. Luka and Embiid in the same lineup, definitely. Randall, Gay, or AD and Keldon. It's probably Randall, Gay. Holmes or LaMelo. It depends on Devontae Graham, but I'll say Holmes right now. Dotson is for cash. Smart, Halliburton. Yeah, so I don't love, Smart's fine, but I don't love him now with Jaylen Brown and Halliburton, Luka, Tatum. Yeah, so again, I don't know. I don't know if I play both Smart and Tatum now with Brown in. I think Holmes is a sneaky play for sure. Keldon sucks. Yeah, he's busted a lot. Is Patty Mills? Yeah, of course. He's close to min price, but you can make the argument for any Spurs. I think I already answered that. Patty feels safe. He has run to the point. Yeah. Again, we'll see what the Spurs do the starting lineup. Like, Popovich is going to do... You already know Popovich is going to do something so... Like I guarantee you it's not what people think for the starting lineup. I guarantee you. Like, we're the Spurs. So, he's going to start, Gorgie Jang, Trey Jones, Luka Samanic. Like, he's just going to throw curve. I guarantee it. Like, I could definitely see... Keldon's for sure going to start. And then the rest, you might see him troll and start Gorgie Jang, Keita Bates Diop, he might just throw a troll job. And I would not be surprised at all. Guarantee it's going to be someone, at least one guy that you don't expect starting for the Spurs. No one Taj. Favorite spend up besides Luka, I don't think there's an answer to that right now. Embiid's it looks really good, but blowout risk. Randall looks good. Obviously some blowout risk there too. Tatum don't like him as much now. Jimmy, I think, is a safer option if you get to him at 9K. Yeah, for sure. For sure, play Gorgie over Eubanks. I think it's a good GPP pivot. No, I think you can... I think it depends what you think happens with the game. If you think the game blows out, you can target more of the bench guys. But Kleber, Taj Gibson, Kleber for me. Yeah, I think Luka looks great. Lowry or Bridges? Lowry. Luka, Halliburton, Jimmy, Keldon, Holmes, Flynn, Melo, Eubanks. Which Melo? Is that LaMelo or Carmelo? Graham not starting. Is Graham in, though? Let's see. I got a stop asking this bum. He doesn't know shit. That is very true. I know nothing. So yep, thank you. Lowry, Walker, Doncic, Keldon Johnson, Eubanks, Flynn, Bron, Holmes. Thoughts for GPPs? Yeah, I think LeBron's a decent low-owned spend up. So I think that's a good GPP lineup. He's gonna go for sure for sell, some matches, Eubanks and Keldon. Yeah, he's gonna do some weird. Randall. I mean, the Knicks, like, he will play a decent amount, but if the game gets really out of hand, then he'll get pulled. Obviously. Halliburton, Walker, Doncic, Johnson, Jang, Flynn, Tatum, Holmes. Sounds good to me. Yeah. Is Graham out? We're still waiting on that. I'm just reading what someone said about me in the chat. He said, stop asking this bum. He doesn't know shit. So I guess I don't know anything. Would you rather go Randall or LeBron? I think Randall's probably looks a little bit better right now because LeBron, like, I don't know if he can play 38 minutes. GPP, Lowry, Vassell, Lonnie Walker, Tatum, Nurkic, Lillard, RJ, and Eubanks. I just don't love RJ. I don't know. He's just like always someone I kind of gloss over. Like, he can have upside if he shoots the ball well, but he just always seems priced right. Like, again, he does have some upside, but also has a somewhat low floor. Like, you can go there for tournaments. It's a decent matchup. I would rather get to Randall, though. 5K Keldon, 4.7K LaMelo, or 4.5 Richardson. Yeah, it's got to be Keldon there. Would you start Lillard and CJ on the same slate? Probably not, unless I'm full game stacking. Like, you could play Lillard and CJ together, but then I'm running it back with some Boston guys. So no Smart and Tatum and Cash. You can play one. I don't think I would play two now with Brown in. No DK slander. Thoughts on Flynn, Walker, Doncic, Finney-Smith, Jang, Halliburton, Brown, and Lowry. Yeah, okay. I think Dorian Finney-Smith finds the last piece in. Jang, again, will be... I think Eubanks is the cash game play, but Jang I don't mind as a contrarian pivot. Shooting guard for 7.9K. All right, let's see. 7.9K. So obviously can't play Van Fleet. I think it's Halliburton for me at 7.3. I mean, Rozier is not out of play for GPPs. He does have some upside, but like it's just very, very up and down. Plus LaMelo being in and maybe Devontae Graham in as well does hurt him. So I think I'll go Halliburton there. Mills, Lonnie, Luka, Keldon, Eubanks, Halliburton, Randall, Holmes. I like it. Yeah, I mean, I think the Suns guys look good. I agree. But there's also a good amount of blowout risk. Now, yeah, it's just tricky, right? Poku decent at 4.7. I just don't trust the Thunder. I would rather get to the Spurs. Please win the GP, then post that comment on Twitter. Lowry or Ball? Ooh, I think I'll go Lowry there. Nurkic or Holmes? I think they're very similar plays. I think both come into low ownership. I just, like, the Kings have, like, no one to play. So maybe I give the edge to Holmes. I like both, though. Are you playing Gay or Samancic? I haven't really finalized my build right now because I'm waiting for starters, but I do think you're going to, like, those two look good for sure. No, the risk with Rudy Gay is potential for a blowout. How many Spurs would he play? I think you can play up to 3 to 4. I think you should play probably at least 2, just because there's a lot of like min-price guys that even if they play 25 minutes, they can get there. THT worth a shot? Yeah, for sure. Like THT, we'll keep an eye on the starting lineup there. So maybe there's like if LeBron surprisingly gets ruled out and there's no Caruso too, also no Schroeder, they have like no point guard. So like THT could pick up the start there. Did CWS get 27 minutes last game? Is he a pivot for Eubanks? CWS. You might have to clarify who CWS is. Are you playing Gayers? Yeah, I think some Manchester if he starts is close to a must in cash games for sure. I'm playing Lonnie, Keldon, Gay, and Eubanks. Yeah, I think, again, you want to get some Spurs in there for sure. DeLon Wright getting more run now. I think there's a possibility he could push for 30. Best value today, it's got to be the Spurs. It's got to be the Spurs for sure. Tori the $5 super chat, thank you so much. Alani, Halliburton, Gay, Randall, Eubanks, Lowry, Luka, Flynn. I like that a lot. I do. So you got 3 Spurs, Lonnie, Gay, and Eubanks. paired with some spend ups, obviously in Luka. You got Lowry with Nova. Yeah, I like that. Thompson starting. Okay, so Thompson is starting for the Celtics. Okay, so that does make Robert Williams a little bit riskier. I still think I'd rather take the shot on Robert Williams over Tristan Thompson, but Tristan Thompson has been playing well of late. Willie Cauley-Stein. Yeah, so yeah, you can take a shot on Willie Cauley-Stein. Sorry, I think I read that as CWS instead of WCS. But yeah. So Willie Cauley-Stein. The only issue you have to worry about is Rick Carlisle. Like, there's a chance he plays 15 minutes. There's also a chance he plays 30. So yeah, you can for sure take a shot on Willie Cauley-Stein. Just know like Carlisle could play all 5 bigs, and all 5 bigs meaning Melly, Kleba, Cauley-Stein, Powell, and Boban. So yeah, that's where I'm at, guys. All right. Appreciate everyone coming to check out the live stream. Let's see, do we have any more news? We're still just waiting on the Spurs starting lineup because that is pretty big. But yeah, enjoy the rest of your Sunday, guys. Thanks again. I'll be back here for another stream on Monday as always. And yeah, I will see you guys all then. So enjoy the rest of your night, guys.